Thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I come from down south, and I've been observing the town for a few months now in my new role directing a venture capital fund here in West Michigan. I noticed a few things while I've been here. Everyone is very polite. The families are philanthropic, and it is very, very cold here. I did notice, though, when it snows, even if it's inches and inches of snow, it feels like moments later, our city streets and roads are clear, and we're continuing to go forward towards a common goal. Nothing. Thank you, City Manager. Nothing shuts down in this city. We keep moving forward. Because we all need the roads to go to work, to go to school, and then back home, we collectively make sure that it does not get in our way. This, for me, embodies the essence of Grand Rapids. When we come together, we are a force that even nature cannot stop. I can tell you that this is more than a city, though. It is more than a town. It is a community. This is an important distinction because according to Google, a town is just an urban area that has a name, defined boundaries, and a local government. And it's generally larger than a village. And a city, according to Google, is just a large town. A community, on the other hand, is a group of people living in the same place, having a particular characteristic in common, a feeling of fellowship among others that results in sharing common interests and goals. While we may not have the same occupation or skin color in this town, we do have similar interests and goals that make us a community. These goals aren't much different than the overall American dream. To be able to secure a future for ourselves and our prosperity, to have life, liberty, and the ability to pursue our own interests. When we put our minds together, we can do more than move snow. We can move mountains. From creating a medical mile so we all have access to health care and live a longer life, to creating our own companies to supply the demand of our region and our own venture capital fund to invest in those companies, we are changing our community for the better every day. We are a community for all, that includes all, that welcomes diversity, new ideas and opinions on how we can make things better in our community, and our mayor holds it all together. The new Community Transformation Fund here in Grand Rapids is only possible because the city, led by our mayor, is more than a city. It is a place where people want to be, to innovate, to create, to make something new, to change the world for the better. We have folks moving from all over the nation and world to be a part of what we are building right here in this community. We want the next wealth-generating, generational businesses to be right here in Grand Rapids, solving problems for our community, by our community. I am very excited that we can all be a light for other cities to follow, led by Mayor Bliss. We can collectively move forward into a new day where this city is a hub for innovation, education, philanthropy for all citizens. As we collectively pick up the snow shovel, we can also collectively pick up the bill for justice. We have to decide to invest in support and patronize businesses right here in our backyard. I'm very excited and delighted to be able to introduce to some and reintroduce to others our amazing mayor, who's helping us create a real sense of community in the city. She has dedicated her life to public service, and she has a real heart for the people. Since first taking the oath of office to serve mayor, she has made it a priority to eliminate racial disparities, build a strong local economy, and strengthen our neighborhoods. She's worked hard to address the problems related to affordable housing, environmental justice, and has been investing in public spaces for all of us to enjoy. She, along with Dr. Pink, co-chaired the Grand Rapids Racial Equity Initiative. She served on the Housing Stability Alliance and now serves on the Board of Housing at Kent. She serves on the Governmental Arena Authority, Downtown Grand Rapids, and the Friends of Grand Rapids. And she has been actively a part of making a direction and impact in all of those. We are so privileged to have her leading our community. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Rosalynn Bliss.
Thank you, Ollie. We are so excited to have him in Grand Rapids, aren't we? It's good to see everyone. But before I start tonight and start with the welcome and start talking about all of the positive things happening in our city, I want to take a moment and acknowledge the terrifying situation in Ukraine. I believe that we all feel devastated and emotional and deeply concerned as we watch the invasion of a free and peaceful country. As we stand with really determined, amazing people of Ukraine, we are inspired by their bravery and pride in their country in the face of an incredibly dangerous situation. Together, let's come together and hope and pray for a quick and peaceful resolution to this crisis, and pray for the safety of the Ukrainian people. I am grateful to be here with all of you, though, together again after a couple long years apart on screens. Bah. So I want to start by thanking New Vintage Place for hosting us in this beautiful space. And I want to thank all of our sponsors who helped make this evening possible. We are also honored to have many in attendance who serve at the local, state, and federal level, including representatives from U.S. Senator Peter's office and U.S. Senator Stabenow's office and Congressman Peter Meyer's office. To Senator Brinks, Representatives LeGrand and Hood, thank you for being a strong voice in Lansing. I'm also deeply grateful to have my colleagues on the City Commission here tonight. We have Commissioner John O'Connor, Sunita Lanier, Joe Jones, Nate Moody, Kurt Reppart, and Melinda Isasi. I am so privileged to work with them, and I get to see firsthand their dedication and commitment to our community. We also have partners here tonight from Kent County, including County Commissioners Volkowski and Hennessy and Skaggs, County Chair Stan Steck, and Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker. We also have Tony Baker and Christian Grant, Reynard Ross, and Jen Schottke from our Grand Rapids Public School Board. A few more. We have our GRCC trustees, amazing CC trustees here tonight. Daniel Williams, Kathleen Brunsma, Kenyatta Brame, and Sal Lopez. I'm also glad to have with me my friend, Mayor Gary Carey from Walker. We can woo for Gary, he's great. And I also want to give a really heartfelt thanks to our very own city manager, Mr. Mark Washington. And our new county administrator, Mr. Al Vanderberg, for their exceptional work. Al, we're so glad to have Al in Kent County. It's good to have you here tonight, Al. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome our new Deputy City Manager, Kate Behrens. So Kate is joining us virtually tonight as she prepares to move here from the Seattle area. But she is a Michigan native, and we are eager to bring her and her considerable experience back to her home state. So Kate will start with us at City Hall next week. Make sure you welcome her. And she will be an amazing addition to our leadership team. So to all of the elected and appointed officials here tonight, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your partnership and your commitment to public service. Thank you. Thriving cities and regions, they don't just happen. They require vision, leadership, commitment, and action. But even that sometimes is not enough. There's a special ingredient that requires it to be truly effective, and that is collaboration. We work together. We have all worked together, side by side, for many years. Together, we have made great progress for our city and our region. The future may have challenges, but it is bright. Right now is a very exciting time for the city of Grand Rapids. Our neighborhoods and downtown business districts are springing back to life. We have significant developments occurring and more opportunities on the horizon across our city, including Spectrum's Center for Health and Transformation and Innovation, Parago's headquarters, Banff Health, all along the Medical Mile and North Monroe. And our population. The number of people who call Grand Rapids home is at an all-time high and rising. Grand Rapids, thank you. I thought Sam would clap to that. Grand Rapids is a city with great energy. Working together, we are rising to the challenge of building a stronger, healthier, more livable, and inclusive community. We have clarity about our goals, and we are acting on strategies to actually reach them. In last year's State of the City, we talked about how the status quo doesn't work for everyone. The idea that getting back to normal is not good enough, and how the pandemic presented a historic opportunity to do things differently. Over the past year, we have worked to stay true to that commitment. Our work continues to ramp up in 5 key areas: public safety, housing, economic opportunity, sustainability and climate, and investing in place. We are fully engaged in the meaningful work of building a place, building a city where people want to live. A place that provides safety and stability. Oh, I can't see the screen. I didn't even look at the pictures when I was running through my speech. But we are working on providing a place that provides safety and stability. A place that offers access to opportunity, and more importantly, a high quality of life. And most importantly, a place that fosters connection and belonging in ways that make a community truly a home. We have all worked together to build a better city, a stronger foundation for our children, and better life for our friends and our neighbors and all Grand Rapidians. And what really excites me today is that Grand Rapids is now firmly on the map as an up-and-coming, forward-looking city with great heart. A place with a big vision. A place where you can get actively engaged and make real change happen. And that is enabling us to attract even more change makers who can help drive our progress forward even faster. People like our new Deputy City Manager, Kate Behrens, and Ollie Howie. Ollie moved to Grand Rapids because our city offered a unique opportunity to serve others and to make a difference in people's lives. Ollie came from Atlanta to serve as the director of the new Community Transformation Fund. This first in its kind in the nation venture capital fund, launched during a pandemic, is well on its way to raising $25 million to invest in companies owned by business leaders of color. Why is this important? Because this fund will expand access to opportunity for entrepreneurs who are often overlooked by traditional investors. We are deeply appreciative of the work of Birgit Close, Scott Welch, the fund board and investors in starting up this important effort. Our collaborative work to build a more inclusive local economy has started to flourish, particularly on our city's southeast side. In Madison Square, MCPC, a global data security company, right now is building their new regional office hub. The project will clean up a polluted brownfield site and bring new jobs to the neighborhood. MCPC is committed to partnering with local schools to provide graduates with apprenticeships in the data and technology industry. Their goal, hire 30% of their workforce from the neighborhood. Near the intersection of Kalamazoo and Hall, we saw the opening of the Southeast Market. This year, with additional funding support, we will see this grocer, led by local women of color, expand with a key focus on food justice. In Boston Square, we eagerly anticipate the opening of the Kazoo station. This new business incubator will house a commercial kitchen that expands access to opportunities for entrepreneurs who aspire to test and start or grow a food business, creating a culinary hub in the neighborhood. In Burton Heights, we are excited by the prospect of transforming a vacant building on South Division into the new headquarters of the Diatribe. The Diatribe is a creative organization that uses the performing arts to empower young people and promote positive change in our community. And their headquarters will be a tremendous new cultural asset on our city's south side. And in the Roosevelt Park neighborhood, the new West Michigan Construction Institute opened its doors this past January. The mission to expand awareness of and access to careers in the commercial building industry. And we need that. The city of Grand Rapids alone last year issued building permits for projects totaling $443 million worth of work. The third highest year ever. And what an encouraging sign. What an encouraging sign that Grand Rapids remained a good investment even in the midst of a pandemic. And we anticipate that this momentum will continue. We project continued investment and more development in all wards across our city. And just as we are investing in building up our city, we are also investing to build up people. Partnerships like the one established with the Construction Institute and GRCC and GRPS will prepare the next generation of workers and help ensure that we are growing a diversified workforce. In addition to supporting the work of our partners, the City of Grand Rapids continues to advance equity-driven systems change within our own organization. Through more intentional recruitment efforts, we increase the number of micro-local business enterprises now registered to do business with the city by over 70%. These are small local construction and professional service firms. And now more local companies will have an even more direct access to job opportunities when the city bids out work for street reconstruction and park rehabilitation and the Grand River Restoration Project. We also adopted one of the most aggressive policies, incentivizing the participation of small, local, minority, and women-owned businesses. We believe that our 9% bid discount incentive is the highest in the state of Michigan and is a vital way that we can help support small businesses flourish. We believe that all Grand Rapidians should have a fair shot to share in the benefits of the city building work ahead. And I really want to commend our city manager and city staff who worked on these efforts to create more equitable access to the many opportunities to do business with our city. And our grant sourcing initiative, started last year, linked for the first time small businesses to procurement professionals at large companies. We are committed to making even more connections at the second annual Grand Summit in June. And I want to thank the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce for stepping in to help continue this important initiative. The result of all of this work will be a more diverse and innovative West Michigan economy. We are focused on building a city for all, where there is opportunity and access for all. But we face a pressing challenge. How we ensure access to housing for our growing population is an urgent question for our city and for our region. The issue of housing spans a wide variety of needs. Housing can be as fundamental as providing temporary shelter for those in need. It can also involve trying to manage the rapid growth that we're experiencing in a way that serves our diverse range of residents. Recent population projections estimate that we will grow more than 4% in the next few years. That is a rapid rate of growth that clearly confirms the sheer need of housing units that we need. A 4% growth rate means that we need to build not dozens, not hundreds of more homes. We need to build thousands of more homes as quickly as possible. We need more homes at all price points throughout our community to accommodate both the diversity of the people already living here as well as the people moving here. The median sale price of a home in Kent County jumped 120% over the last 10 years. And while rising home values are positive by many traditional economic metrics, they can have a very real downside. They make housing even less affordable for many. We need more affordable housing. And simple economics tell us that more housing will promote affordability. Promoting more housing development is one thing that the city can do to be more actively a part of the solution. And we are doing just that in partnership with both our private and nonprofit partners. In 2021, more than 700 new homes came on the market in our city. About half of those, some 350, were affordably priced to accommodate families with modest incomes. Even more encouraging, we're currently tracking an additional 700 affordable new housing units in the development pipeline, and many of these units will be online and available in 2023. Now, all this is highly encouraging and much needed progress, but even this success is not enough. That is why the city acted last fall to formally establish the Affordable Housing Fund. Several years in the making, the fund has the authority to make investments to promote an affordable housing market in Grand Rapids. The fund, for example, could issue low-cost loans to nonprofit housing development partners, or it could help those who want to add an accessory dwelling unit above their garage to help grow the housing supply and create a secondary income. We recently seeded the fund with nearly $6 million, and we expect that balance to grow over time. I especially want to thank the Grand Rapids Community Foundation, who will help steward these critical financial resources in partnership with the City Commission appointed Housing Fund Board. Yet we realize that the City of Grand Rapids alone cannot solve our significant housing challenges, and we are taking action accordingly. This is a regional issue that requires regional solutions, and we are working with regional partners. New hookups to our regional water utility service, for example, supported the development of another 1,100 homes outside of the city boundary. We are also building a new way of thinking about housing in West Michigan. That is why we recently launched Housing Kent, started by an alliance of 130 public, private, philanthropic, and nonprofit partners, all dedicated to working together, aligning efforts and resources to ensure more people have access to consistent, stable, affordable housing throughout our community. We are grateful for the extensive work that our partners at K-Connect have done to build, organize, and focus this coalition. Thank you. And I want to specifically congratulate Eureka people. If you haven't heard, Eureka was named the founding president of K-Connect's Housing Kent. Eureka is an expert strategist and facilitator of positive social change and has built capacity in over 200 organizations during her career. She's now focusing those talents right here in Grand Rapids. So just as we are bringing forward new ideas and partnerships to take action towards our housing goals, so too we are focused on a new era for public safety. Grand Rapids is a safe city, but we have challenges. Progress often requires patience, and sometimes it may seem that we're moving too slow on important and complex issues like police reform. But often, the most significant change comes from unwavering persistence and commitment, and we have brought notable change to public safety. Reaching out and collaborating in new ways is at the core of this effort. We are retraining for neighborhood-based policing, and we are increasing transparency and accountability. We added social workers to the department to provide victim support services, and we are actively working to implement a mental health co-response team. We are more actively seeking out new recruits from Grand Rapids zip codes. And we established the Office of Oversight and Public Accountability under the leadership of Brandon Davis to improve We're pretty lucky to have Brandon at the city. And he's working to improve community police relations. And more than that, he's there to help facilitate just outcomes. Working together as a community, we have moved forward significant conversations about policing, and we moved them away from worn-out crime control strategies. Now we are actually talking about and investing in new ways to build trust in our city's public safety system as a whole. And I want to take this moment to especially thank Police Chief Eric Payne for more than 30 years of service. I want to thank Police Chief Eric Payne, not just for his years of service, but also his leadership of the department through this important time and season. And I also want to thank all of the men and women of our Grand Rapids Police Department for their ongoing service to our community. We have broad agreement that public safety must be a collaborative effort between police officers and community. And we understand that true public safety and crime prevention work requires actively engaging with people and institutions outside the traditional policing system. Our Cure Violence initiative is a good example. Many gun crimes occur between people who know each other. Cure Violence utilizes personal relationships in the community to stop people from picking up a gun to resolve a conflict. The program aims to interrupt the violence before it happens. The program dispatches outreach workers to keep engaged with individuals who are at risk of violence, to talk to them about the costs of violence and help them obtain supports that they may need. Ultimately, the program aims to create a community and a culture of nonviolence. And that is a highly ambitious goal. Yet Cure Violence has delivered successful results in major cities across the country. The city is working side by side with the Urban League to implement this proven initiative. The Urban League has trusted community ties and a strong, positive presence in our neighborhoods. And we look forward to our continued work with the Urban League President and CEO, Eric Brown, and his team. We're also really thankful to our partners at Spectrum Health for their support of this important work. Together, we are building a more fair, safe, and effective approach to community policing. This is hard work, but we are rising to the challenge, and we have a new partner to help lead our effort. Next week, Mr. Eric Winstrom takes the oath as Grand Rapids' next police chief. Chief Winstrom is moving to Grand Rapids from Chicago with his wife and family after serving more than 20 years in a variety of roles with the Chicago Police Department. He was attracted to our city in part by the opportunity to work for a community that boldly aspires to build one of the most trusted police departments in the nation. Working together, I really believe we can be successful and that we, Grand Rapids, will be a model to other cities. One common theme of all of the work that I'm highlighting tonight is that we are putting in place the new civic infrastructure necessary to challenge systemic barriers and make the bold changes that we envision for our community. A more equitable economic development system, a more affordable and accessible housing system, and a police system that strives to ensure all people feel safe and are safe at all times. Now I want to discuss our next complex priority, environmental and climate justice. Grand Rapids has a proud history and a proven record when it comes to protecting the environment, both in our private sector and public sector. Indeed, we have emerged as one of the country's leading sustainable cities over the past decades. We have been recognized for the most LEED certified buildings, 31st in the country for clean energy performance, Tree City USA Awards. The United Nations recognized us as one of the first regional centers of expertise in education for sustainable development in North America. However, as we have navigated through our sustainability journey, we have new insights. As we have progressed, we have come to understand that sustainability is not just about environmentalism. It is intertwined with economic development, social systems, and human health. The climate crisis affects people of different class, race, geography, and generations unequally. Communities of color disproportionately bear the brunt of contamination and are hit first and worst by severe weather events and power outages. To begin building our civic infrastructure to tackle this considerable challenge and crisis, the city helped create and launch the Community Collaboration on Climate Change, or C4 as we call it. And we will continue to partner with them to develop the our first ever, climate action and adaptation plan. I want to thank the C4 leadership team members, Michigan Black Expo, and the Hispanic Center of West Michigan for their partnership and leadership in this effort. And I also want to thank the Wege Foundation and Consumers Energy and DTE for the support of C4. This effort gets underway this year as we conduct a community-wide carbon emissions inventory and climate change vulnerability assessment. And last year, the City Commission declared climate change as a crisis, and we set important and achievable goals. We aim to power all city operations with 100% renewable energy by 2025. We aim to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2040. Clap for that. These really are ambitious commitments, and they greatly exceed the targets set by the Paris Climate Accord, President Biden, and Governor Whitmer. And we are rising to the challenge. 2022 is shaping up to be an action-packed year. Just recently, our new biodigester came online and began producing renewable natural gas. Yes. This facility takes it actually turns food and other waste into low-carbon renewable natural gas, and that gas will power our rapid buses and some of our city vehicles. Yeah. And there's more. This spring, our new solar installation at the Lake Michigan Filtration Plant will start soaking up the sun's energy. The facility will help reduce the city's carbon footprint and bring us closer to our 100% renewable energy goal. We are working to convert the city's 18,000 streetlights to 35% more energy efficient LED lights. We have already placed nearly 9,000, and we will replace the remaining 9,000 this year. We aim working to co-create equitable solutions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from both homes and buildings that will address energy burden, affordability, and public health through our EH0 work. And I was honored to participate, we are honored to continue to participate in the White House Building Performance Standards Coalition. Not to tell you that while the obstacles have felt insurmountable at times, we will still, one of these days, install solar at the Butterworth landfill. It's gonna happen. It will happen. I know, I heard Eric laugh. I promise you, it's going to happen. Oh, what a project. But really, our execution efforts are incredible, and they outpace larger cities. We've already reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by 30%, and we are on our way to hit nearly 50% by 2025. We are doing everything we can to be a part of the solution to confront climate change and protect people's health and their homes. And we have made real progress together. And the collaboration with the community has truly been a cornerstone of our ability to do so. We will continue to build on this progress. And that will benefit all Grand Rapidians. First and foremost, our most vulnerable populations and future generations. I want to highlight one more generational initiative poised for real action. We have dreamed about, discussed, planned, prepared for the Grand River restoration for over a decade. Over a decade. This is the year. This is the year. I've held off saying that at other State of the Cities, but this year, this is the year. This is the year that we will see that vision evolve into real, visible action. Putting the Rapids back in Grand Rapids is an exciting and catalytic prospect for our region. It is part of our effort to grow the Grand River Greenway in our urban core and make connections to adjacent neighborhoods and cities. We have numerous isolated and industrialized properties along the river corridor that can be put to higher and better use as new riverfront parks or housing and other amenities. We have the vision and the opportunity to expand the riverfront trail system, linking all of the riverfront sites together and connecting them regionally. If you worked on or are familiar with the River for All or GR Forward plan, you have seen these plans. Now we are ready to start building. Grand Rapids Whitewater hopes to break water on the first phase of the in-river improvements. Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. and partners are ready to break ground on the long-awaited renovation of Lion Square. And the Grand Rapids Public Museum, they have an exciting plan for the riverfront, which is nearly shovel-ready. Each of these projects could break ground within the year, kicking off a promising movement to transform our downtown riverfront. But the benefits of this work, they are going to extend far beyond downtown. In 2023, we will break ground on the Riverfront Trail segment linking downtown to Creston neighborhood, Riverside Park, and the White Pine Trail. That effectively links, yes. That effectively links our urban core to Rockford, Cedar Springs, Sand Lake, and points north to Cadillac. We are working with the Kent County Parks to support the development of a Rails to Trails project that connects the riverfront to the Belknap neighborhood, Highland Park, Midtown, onto Ada, and all the way to Lowell. And we are right now designing the Riverfront Trail section that will link downtown to the Black Hills, Millennium Park, and the Idamas Explorers Trail in Ottawa County. And that project will connect Grand Rapids all the way to Lake Michigan. Taken together, these and other projects to come will transform the way Grand Rapidians use and enjoy the city's most important natural and community asset. These are all exciting prospects, and we are moving them forward while we are deepening our commitment to our neighborhood parks. The city rehabilitated 10 different neighborhood parks last year. 16 more are on the docket in 2022, from Hartside to Roosevelt to Briggs Park. And to partner with us on this important work is the Friends of Grand Rapids Parks, who recently hired Stacy Barr as the new executive director. Stacy has had really a tremendous amount of experience in advancing environmental causes. He is moving to Grand Rapids from Utah to lead this important organization. His interest in Grand Rapids was sparked by our shared belief in the critical role parks play in the health of communities. With his leadership, we will accelerate our efforts to plant more trees, expand our parks, and create more opportunities for people to connect with nature. We are building the city that we want to be. And we are doing it by coming together from many backgrounds in goodwill and with a common purpose, united by this community that we love and we call home. I have never been more hopeful about the future of our city and region. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to do things differently, to make significant catalytic investments. And we are working to maximize this moment. I have described a number of initiatives and areas of momentum tonight. Together, we are building a foundation that will deliver far-reaching benefits for years to come. Now, we must keep moving forward. We must keep moving forward with a clear purpose and a clear sense of optimism. Moving forward together, believing, all of us believing, that great things are indeed ahead. They will emerge from the efforts of today, and they will impact lives for decades to come. So let's keep the collaboration and momentum going as we continue to build together the Grand Rapids of our dreams. So thank you everyone for being here tonight and your incredible support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bliss and City Commissioners, for your leadership and your invaluable efforts in navigating us through these difficult times. As City Manager, I am honored to be part of the state of the city, but I'm also honored to make sure that this is the city of the state that shines as an example of what resilience, imagination, innovation, renaissance, and inclusion can look like. During the past 2 years, we have been through the valley of the pandemic, recession, social injustice, and are continuing to climb our way through a period of economic recovery and renewal. The city's values and strategic plan have guided us with our values of accountability, equity, sustainability, customer service, innovation, and collaboration as it anchors us in our mission of elevating the quality of life through excellent city services. Throughout this turbulent time, we have delivered important outcomes for all Grand Rapidians while continuing provide vital municipal services that you rely on. We also have been diligent in making sure that disparities are addressed and there are equitable outcomes in housing, public safety, mobility, economic development, environmental justice, and workforce diversity, just to name a few. And I've heavily leaned on our community partners as well as our Office of Equity and Engagement to make sure that equity is not just an aspiration, but has associated action with it. The fiscal year 22 budget has $25 million of investments that furthered equitable outcomes. We have implemented public safety reforms outlined in the police department's strategic plan and partnered with the community on new community-engaged violence prevention and reduction strategies such as secure violence. We have helped our local economy continue to recover from the pandemic-caused recession with relief funding, social zones, and fee waivers. We have continued to help the unhoused and to make progress on the safe housing. And we help and support. We have enhanced community engagement while making important quality of life investments. I want to take this moment to thank our outgoing police chief, Eric Payne, who is retiring after nearly 35 years of distinguished service to our city and having the outcome of reducing 21 homicides by 50% compared to 2020. This was done through the collaboration of the police department and community stakeholders. The police department will continue with the neighborhood policing model that emphasizes crime prevention and reduction and community trust building. Other public safety enhancements include secure violence and expanded response model with mental health partners such as Network 180. I want to thank the county for their partnership as well. Even as we congratulate Chief Payne's retirement, we are excited about our next police chief, Eric Winstrom, who will be sworn in and serving our community on Monday, March 7th. The city is fortunate to hire someone as qualified and talented as Eric Winstrom to serve as police chief, as he's also a certified law enforcement officer, an attorney, and an expert on the Fourth Amendment. I look forward to working with him and continuing to advance policing in our community and this journey to strengthen trust between our community and our police department. With Mr. Winstrom's help, the police department will reach their goal of becoming the safest mid-sized city and the most trusted police department in the United States. Another key member of my administration, Deputy City Manager Eric DeLong, is also retiring after many years of service. He has made a tremendous contribution to Grand Rapids, having played a leading role in its growth and development through a series of outstanding projects and collaborative solution-oriented approaches to make sure we get to yield on important projects. Kate Behrens will be our next Deputy City Manager and will begin on March 9th as we've hired her from Bellevue, Washington, and she has been responsible for leading key initiatives in Bellevue around economic development, planning, financial service, transportations, and housing. She is well positioned to build upon Mr. DeLong's legacy and build her own. This city is doing our part within our scope of influence to achieve equitable growth in our local economy. We continue to invest in retail retention and attraction efforts. At least 118 small businesses, more than half of them are minority owned, received grant assistance totaling $500,000. And the number of micro local businesses registered to do business with the city has grown by 76% since 2020. This increases the diverse community participants to join in the contract work with the city. A new round of small business grant awards is also in progress and will soon be completed. The city continues to support local businesses through expanding outdoor dining and social zones. Art Prize returned in 2021 and will return in 2022, and at the pace of special events is expected to accelerate the outcomes of 2021. The city has prioritized efforts in affordable housing in many ways this past year. We've allocated $5.9 million for affordable housing investments. A new affordable housing fund, which was established, will continue our commitment over the long term. Soon, the Affordable Housing Fund Board will begin to make decisions about investments in the framework to grow affordable housing in our community and increase housing supply over the next generations. We've made housing safer by replacing water service lines. A $5 million grant from the Environmental Protection Agency that will begin in 2022 will allow us to replace another 1,600 lead service lines in neighborhoods of focus over the next 4 years. We have also hired a lead program, Paul Hahn, to help us focus our efforts on mitigating the health impact of lead-based paint, in which most children affected by this environmental hazard live in the 49507 zip code. To help unhoused community, we have expanded the homeless outreach team and continue to partner and collaborate with other stakeholders to make sure that we have emergency shelter in COVID during the winter to make sure that social distancing can be achieved. Quality life infrastructure investments included the completion of 10 park improvement projects, planting of over 1,400 trees, the continuation of e-scooters and e-bikes, improved bus stop cleans, and approval of 43 bus stop shelters that we will continue to install over the next year. This is in addition to $28 million investment in roads through the vital streets, which includes $3.1 million to maintain and enhance our city sidewalk network. We are continuing to strive for climate, environmental, and decarbonization goals. We were recently ranked as measured by our efforts to equitably reduce energy waste homes and buildings and facilitating access to efficient transportation for historically marginalized people and moving towards a cleaner power grid. Through the participatory budgeting pilot project, the community will propose, define, and choose projects funded by a $2 million allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds. The participatory budgeting pilot will advance us towards a project selection and implementation in 2022. And the community master plan will help us facilitate conversations around what our community will look like in the future over the next 20 to 30 years. We're pleased to do this in collaboration with all our partners. Our population has grown since 2010 by 5.6%. And several corporations have chosen to maintain or bring their headquarters to Grand Rapids. Our work in Grand Rapids' continued success depends on your help and engaged input. Engaging and connecting the Grand Rapids community is one of our top priorities in our strategic plan. We recently expanded the scope and reach the city's community engagement efforts through our digital newsletter, GR Connected, and a social media platform. And the community plays a meaningful role both in public decision-making as well as implementation of projects that affects our daily lives. In 2022, we will continue to engage our community and participate in the National Community Survey, whereby we measure resident satisfaction with the state of our city services, and particularly our municipal services that affect all your lives, such as trash collection and road repair. We need to compare ourselves to other communities. This is the second time participating in this survey, and it's the first time since the pandemic. By participating in this survey, you will equip our city to make better informed decisions based on the feedback and engagement of our residents. On behalf of myself and all dedicated professionals who continue to work hard to serve you and our workforce and elevate the quality of life of all Grand Rapidians, we want to thank you for your continued support.